I am making a wonderful, super easy homemade bread that is perfect for sandwiches. This recipe is really, really easy. So it's 1 tablespoon of yeast. There we go. And I found this recipe on TikTok and it looked absolutely amazing. I just changed one thing. So instead of doing the sugar, I'm doing honey. And then it is 2 cups of warm water. Make sure it's not too hot or it'll kill your yeast. And then it's a 1/4 cup of honey. We have honeybees and I'm so excited to get more honey because I'm down to my last 3 jars. Gideon has been using it pretty much on everything. I made a rice dish the other day and he literally put it on his rice dish. But he's been putting in his coffee, his sandwiches, anytime he can use honey, he's been using it. So it's a 1/4 cup of white sugar or honey. And we're gonna, well, I keep saying I'm going to show you. Take a whisk, mix it really well inside here. You're gonna let it set for about 10 minutes because you're gonna want it to proof. So I will show you what it looks like before, and then when it gets done, usually about 10 minutes, just kind of let it rest. I'll show you what it looks like after, okay? And I use the whisk because I want my honey really mixed in with the warm water too. Just be a little gentle. It's a perfect fall day to bake. And I have been wanting to start making my own bread for a while, but life has been so crazy and I was determined. I'm like, okay, I got pretty much a lot of my canning done and I got my house almost decorated. I'm gonna do bread. So my plan is to make bread. I'm gonna make a couple loaves for Brendan and Robert, a couple loaves for Madison and her Grandpa Jack, a couple loaves for Haley and David, and then some bread for us. And then I don't know, maybe if I continue to love, I got dough all over my fingers. If I continue to love doing this, maybe I'll just make bread all day. So yeah, I'm super excited to be doing it. And I have to tell you, kind of what made me want to do this is me and my son. I think I had already shared this with you guys. I'm not sure, but we had went fishing not too long ago. I think maybe a month ago. And I had made sandwiches for the boys. And they took me out fishing. I was super excited. And it's bread that we get often, really, really good. And so I made the sandwiches and I started to eat it and I took a bite and I'm thinking, this doesn't taste like it normally tastes. Like it had a really like metally taste to it. It was very, very odd. And I didn't say anything because I thought, well, maybe it's just me. I am 53. Things don't taste the same as they did when you're younger. Like it's really weird. I know you guys are thinking, what? When you get older, your guts change, your taste buds change. It's just so weird. Like I'm a spicy person now. And we were talking about that last night and Robert's like, yeah, mom really likes spicy now. It's really weird because she's always hated spice. I don't know. So anyway, we were sitting in the boat. Noah was behind me and he's like, Mom, what's wrong with this bread? I said, what do you mean what's wrong with it? He's like, it tastes really bad, like metal. And I'm like, huh. I guess it wasn't just me. And we literally could not eat it. Like the bread was it wasn't good. And it wasn't old. And I don't know what has happened to our favorite bread. And I thought, I'm going to just start making my own. I'm trying it out today. I've already done 4 loaves. I've been able to do my Bible study. I'm working on a breakfast cookbook. So I have gotten things done in between. So I set one, I get it going. Go do things like dishes. I folded a couple of loads of laundry and then come back because it has to rise. So after this proofs, we're then going to add flour, salt, and oil. You mix it, put it leave it in the bowl, let it rise for about, I don't know, you want it to double in size. So probably about 45 minutes, you're going to cover it. And then you take it out, cut it in half, make a rectangle, which I'm going to show you all this, just kind of giving you a little detail what's going to happen. And then you roll it up, put in your bread pans, let it rise for, I don't know, maybe 40 minutes, bake it at 350, probably for about 20, 25 minutes, just depending. And then you're going to melt some butter, brush it on top. I'm super excited to try this recipe. It got a lot of people are like, I've tried it, it's amazing. I've tried it, it's amazing. So I'm hoping, because I've made bread in the past, but it's always so like crumbly and it just, you go to cut it for sandwiches and it breaks apart. And so Supposedly, this is a very spongy bread and it stays together when you make sandwiches. I looked at some other recipes on Pinterest and man, it had like milk and brown sugar. And I'm like, and I'm like, keep it simple. Like a keep it simple, stupid. That's me. I'm like a keep it simple. And I'm talking to myself, keep it simple. And so I like to make things that are very simple to make, not a lot of ingredients. But let me tell you though, I do sometimes make a dinner and there's like so many spices. And I look, I'm like, man, Heather, there's a lot of spices in here, but they're needed. Okay, we're gonna let this proof for a little longer, come back, add the ingredients, whip it up, and then get it resting. Oh, Josh is in, he's cutting wood today. All right, the yeast is done. Look how beautiful that is. Now it's time to add the rest of the ingredients and then get the dough rising so we can get it into the bread pans so they can rise and then bake the bread. And then of course dry it out. Now that the yeast has proofed, we are going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm actually using Celtic salt. It doesn't seem to bother it, so I wasn't sure if it would matter, you know. And then 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm using avocado oil. If you want to use olive oil, you can. Whoa. Okay, there we go. And then it is 4.5 cups of flour. I'm actually starting out with bread flakes. It's actually self-rising, not self-rising. It's bread flour, not just all-purpose flour. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so there's my, so it's 4.5 cups. My first one I made, the dough did not stick onto the kneader. I think you call it a kneader, I don't know. But the second one it did, so I had to add a little flour. So depending on, you know, if you don't get it just perfect, you might have to add a little bit of flour so it doesn't stick to your, I think it's called a kneader. I don't know what it's called. Well, I've used this whole bag. There was only one left. I wanted to do all bread flour, and there was only one left. I was kind of bummed. All right, here we go. Okay. Oh, got a little bit of dough on me here. Okay, so we're just gonna attach this. Just, you wanna start it slow because you don't want flour to go everywhere. You guys see that? Let me bring you a little closer. Whenever I bake, it's just a mess. There's flour everywhere. So you're gonna continue doing this. You can speed it up a little bit once all the flour is mixed in, but I'm gonna knead this and then put a towel over the bowl and then let it set because you want it to rise to half its size. And with the other ones I did, the first one rose probably like 40-50 minutes, and then the second one was like more like 40-45 minutes. But I noticed there's a difference with the dough. The first one was a little more stiff, and the second one was more pliable. So I don't know if I didn't have enough flour in it, so I'm anxious to see. And then I normally do white sugar when I cook, and I really want to try making my cookies with honey. I don't know how that's going to work, but all right, so I'm just going to mix it up a little bit here. And so if you notice it's really sticky in your bowl, you might just have to add a little bit of flour because you want it to come off of this, I don't know, prong, I don't know what you want to call hook. You want it to come off kind of nice. It might be a little sticky, but that's okay. So I am noticing that with this batch too, it's still kind of sticking to the, well, maybe not. Flour and dough all over me. So I'm gonna add another tablespoon of flour because it is sticking to the sides of the bowl a little bit. And I wasn't really doing too great at my measuring, so. If this works, man, I am so excited. I'm gonna be making so much bread. I thought about trying to do like a pumpkin bread, but I have to figure out how you would add that because you don't want too much moisture, then your bread will be not too good. So you gotta kind of make sure when you add things or take away things, it kind of balances out. But I thought, you know, I could do cinnamon. I could actually use sugar in one of the batches instead of honey, and then do cinnamon and make a cinnamon bread. Okay, that's beautiful. So I wanted to show you, see how it's sticking to the bowl a little bit? I'm gonna add a little bit more flour to it because you really, really want it to form a dough ball. All right, so I added another tablespoon and see how that's pulling the dough now away from the bowl? Yeah, that looks a lot better. I'm gonna slow it down a little bit too. That could be part of the problem. All right, I'm gonna shut it off here. And we're just gonna pull it from the hook, leave it into the bowl so it can rise. Yeah, so this one's a little sticky. I wonder if I didn't add my flour right because I was talking to you guys. All right, it's not too bad though. You're also gonna add flour to it when you put it on the counter to roll it up and put it into your. All right. So I'm just gonna pull it away from the bowl a little bit. Yeah, it's really weird how weather will affect your bread. It's just very odd. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna cover it. Okay, I'm gonna let that cover. And then when it gets half of its size, we're gonna take it out over to my other counter and then kind of spread it out into a rectangle and then fold it up and put it into the bread pan. The bread looks beautiful. So I'm just gonna take it out of here. If you have to put flour in your hands so it's not sticky, that's fine. All right. Put some flour on the counter. There we go. It smells absolutely amazing. I have 4 in the oven. Oh my goodness, they're so beautiful. Okay, put some flour in my hands. Let's get it on this floured surface. We're gonna, yeah, I'll cut it in half. I'm actually gonna do a big one, but I'll just make 2 smaller ones and they can kind of rise together. So just cut it in half. Put one set aside. So if you do smaller pans, of course, you're gonna put these in, you know, they're individual, but I wanna try these big ones out. So we'll see how it goes. So what you're gonna do now is you're just going to make it into a rectangle, kind of pull it out a little bit here. It feels so great. I hope this works. I'm super excited. I have tried other breads and they just didn't work. Okay. So now I'm gonna roll it fast as you can. And then make sure that you grease your bread pan. So there's one. I was gonna try and roll it like all into like a big one and put it in there, but I think it's gonna work. Wow, it's already rising a little bit since I set it over there. This sucker's going. It feels so beautiful. I could just like touch it all day. Okay, this is kind of a rectangle, not really. Let's just pull out the sides. That's what I mean is you could put cinnamon and sugar in here and then roll it up. Oh my goodness, it'd be so great. Okay, tuck it and roll, tuck and roll, tuck and roll. Throw it into my bread pan here. They're gonna be like together but separate, and that's okay. And then cover it. My other one isn't quite done, so I'm gonna cover it for probably about 45 minutes, and then I'll show you it all risen and beautiful. And then we will bake it at, what did I say, 350 for about 20 minutes. I can't wait to show you these other ones. They're so beautiful. All right, so I think for this one, I'm actually just going to keep it whole. I put those other 2 in together and they're just rising together, like they're just connecting. So I'm just gonna make it whole. I took the 4 out already. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. Okay. All right, let's roll it up like we did the others. I need to go get some, if I'm gonna start doing this, I need to get bread pans. Okay, there we go. Let's tuck it in there. And let's cover it. Got lots of bread for the week. I have 4 loaves already done, and then I'm just gonna show you. You can see the difference, how this one has risen and this hasn't. So this one I'm gonna go ahead and stick in the oven. And it's gonna bake for 20 minutes. I'm gonna cover this one because it's not quite, like it's almost ready, but it's not quite ready. And then once they're all done, we're gonna have to do a taste test. And look at adding the butter. So I brought them out and then put butter on the top. They almost look professional. I mean, like not professional, but almost like home professional. Bread just came out, looks amazing. So this part right here is where I did the 2 loaves. So my next one, you're not gonna see it. So I just melted some butter. I think when I do this again, I think I am gonna try and put some cinnamon and sugar inside of it and make like a cinnamon bread. Hello. Oh, my daughter's back from delivering.
Aw, that's good.
I know, aren't they beautiful?
Yeah.
I have one more left.
Nice.
Okay, so I have one more left, and then it's time to try my homemade bread.
Sounds good.
All right, last bread out. Josh, he's taking a little break from doing his wood. Are you done with your wood, Josh?
No, I stacked it because I have to haul it over here.
He's a wood guy, an apple guy. How's the apple business coming along?
Apples?
Yeah,
Nobody's been buying it yet.
they will. I think they're probably waiting. Did you get your sign out?
Yeah, you don't have it displayed.
Okay.
What?
So
Yeah,
all the bread is
it's in
done.
the bowl.
Thank you so much for joining me on making bread for our week. I can't wait. Oh wait, I told you I was gonna try it. So I take that back. I'm not done. We're gonna try it together. Well, I'm gonna try it. You guys are gonna watch me try it. Okay, it's time to try one with you guys. Ooh, it does feel kind of spongy. Do you wanna try it too, Haley?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, here I go. Brushing it with butter. Nothing like fresh bread. It is spongy, she's right. Oh man, the kids are gonna love it. Okay, here I go. It's not crumbly. I'm talking to my daughter. It's super good. Josh is making himself nachos. Okay. It is very spongy, like she said. It's amazing. Amazing. You have to try this recipe. Okay, now, Josh. Mr. Chip Guy. Now, thank you. He does love chips. Thank you so much for joining me on making this wonderful bread. You have got to try this recipe. This is probably the best bread I've ever made. The best.
Please subscribe on Just About.
Oh, yeah, subscribe to Just About. Thank you.